Welcome back to Homestead Development. We passed our foundation inspection and now we're ready to pour concrete. I'm spraying the forms with vegetable oil. This keeps the concrete from sticking to the wood and makes removing the forms easier. The first truck just arrived. Each load of concrete is inspected by the lead man to make sure it is the correct consistency. More water can be added to the slurry to make it easier to spread. However, you don't want too much water because it will reduce the strength of the finished concrete. They are starting with the recessed shower. This will give the shower time to start drying so the wooden frame can be removed later. Due to the size of the pour and the time-sensitive nature of the material, I decided to let the professionals handle this one. I've done smaller jobs, but would recommend hiring finishers for anything this big. You can see they have already hand troweled around the form. The conduits and pipes that are not buried need to be anchored down so that they do not float to the top of the concrete. The workers use concrete spreaders to pull the concrete to the far side of the form and fill the footers. As each section gets filled, the driver moves the truck forward so they can start filling the next section. Then, two finishers begin screeding the filled area with an aluminum screed board. If you don't have a screed board, a 2x4 will suffice. Workers place stakes in the middle of the form with a nail in the side to show the elevation of the finished concrete. The finishers use the stake with the nail to spread the concrete at the proper height. The second truck just arrived. As they screed the concrete, other workers add and remove concrete with spreaders. This allows them to fill low areas that become apparent after screeding. As the third truck arrives, one finisher begins floating the concrete on the other end. He uses a bull float to push the aggregate down and smooth out imperfections. He will continue this process long after all of the concrete is poured. This is aesthetically my favorite part. While he continues floating, other workers hand trowel the perimeter of the form and around the pipes sticking out of the concrete. As the concrete approaches, the bricks holding down the plastic sheeting are removed from the work area so that they don't get buried under concrete. The work is a continuous symphony from the time the first truck arrives until hours after the last truck leaves. After the third truck was empty, we calculated the amount of concrete necessary to finish the job and added an extra yard just to be safe. If another truck has to come back for less than 3 yards, you will get charged a trip fee, so I figure it's better to pay for an extra yard and not need it. The fourth and final truck just arrived. The excess concrete will be dumped in a low area that needs to be filled anyway. concrete has set for an hour and now the crew is ready to use the power trowel. He keeps the surface of the concrete wet so the power trowel doesn't gouge the surface. So we've let the concrete cure for a few days and now we're going to remove the forms. We're going to start by shoveling out along the perimeter of the form so that we can access the screws that are holding the stakes together. We'll remove those screws and then we'll be able to disassemble the form. So check out this detail right here. We used a 1x1 trim board to make this 1" by 1" recess. And this is called a metal ledge. Similar concept as a brick ledge. The metal building framing is going here, and then the metal siding is going to sit down into this metal ledge. That way, if water hits this, water might get under the metal siding, but it cannot get under the framing and into the house. So that's all there is for the concrete. We'll have a metal building delivered in a couple of weeks. So check out our next video to see that getting put up. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.